You know what's strange? Most people don't destroy their lives during the day. They destroy them at night, not with drugs, not with alcohol, but with something much more quiet, much more normal, a glowing screen in a dark room at 1:13 a.m. One more scroll, one more video, one more "I'll sleep after this one." And little by little, your mind stops resting, your motivation disappears, your focus dies slowly, your anxiety gets louder, and eventually you wake up exhausted every single morning without understanding why your life feels completely stuck. That was Ethan, a regular guy, not lazy, not broken, not hopeless, just trapped in a pattern he didn't even know existed. And for years, he thought he had a discipline problem, but he didn't. He had a night problem. And the moment he fixed it, everything started changing. Ethan wasn't lazy. That's what made this so confusing. He genuinely wanted to change his life. During the day, he constantly thought about it. He watched productivity videos, saved motivational posts he'd never go back to, bought notebooks with the best intentions, made plans that looked great on paper, started routines on Monday mornings, and quit them all by Wednesday. Again and again and again. Every single night followed the same pattern. He'd tell himself, "I'll sleep early tonight. Tonight is different. I just need to be more disciplined." But somehow, midnight always arrived. Then 1 a.m., then 2, and his brain never truly stopped running. The strangest part? The nights didn't even feel good anymore. Scrolling stopped being entertaining months ago. It became automatic, mechanical, like his brain was desperately searching for something, but never actually finding it. One more reel, one more video, one more dopamine hit that never satisfied. But internally, he felt emptier every single week. He'd look at his phone at 2 a.m. and think, "Why am I still doing this?" And then scroll anyway. And eventually, he noticed something that genuinely scared him. His life only moved forward in his imagination, never in reality. In his mind, he imagined getting fit, becoming financially free, waking up with energy and purpose, rebuilding his confidence, finally feeling proud of himself. But every morning, he woke up mentally exhausted before the day even started, tired before breakfast, foggy before coffee, defeated before he even tried. And slowly, his confidence disappeared, not from one big failure, but from hundreds of small ones. Because nothing destroys self-respect faster than constantly watching yourself break promises you made to yourself. Every night you said, "I'll sleep early," and didn't. Every morning you said, "Today is the day," and it wasn't. That gap between who you say you'll be and who you actually are, it grows, quietly, painfully, until you stop believing your own voice. But then, something happened, something small, something Ethan almost ignored. And it completely changed the way he understood everything. Not just his nights, his entire life. One Tuesday night, Ethan did something he had never done before. He looked at his phone's screen time report, and he sat there, completely still. 8 hours and 47 minutes in a single day, nearly 9 hours of his life, consumed by a screen. And it wasn't just the number that hit him, it was the realization behind it. His brain had never recovered, not in days, not in weeks, maybe not in years. Every single night, instead of letting his nervous system wind down, he was flooding it with stimulation, bright light directly into his eyes, emotional content triggering stress responses, endless scrolling keeping his brain in a state of constant searching. His mind thought it was relaxing, but it wasn't. It was running a marathon at midnight and wondering why it couldn't sprint in the morning. He realized something that completely changed his perspective. He wasn't resting at night. He was overstimulating himself into exhaustion. And there's a huge difference between those two things. Exhaustion is not the same as rest. Crashing is not the same as recovering. Passing out from overstimulation is not the same as actual sleep. And Ethan had been confusing them for years. That one realization changed everything. Because for years, he kept trying to fix his mornings, better alarm, earlier wake-up, cold shower, journaling, affirmations. But the real damage always started the night before. And suddenly he understood everything. Why mornings felt impossible even after 8 hours in bed. Why his focus disappeared by 10 a.m. Why motivation never lasted more than 2 days. Why anxiety kept getting louder every month. Why he felt emotionally flat even when nothing was technically wrong. His brain was permanently overloaded, running on empty, surviving, not living. Modern life had handed him a poison and told him it was entertainment. And the scariest part? Most people around him had the same problem, and none of them knew it. So Ethan made a decision, not a big one, not a life overhaul, not a New Year, New Me announcement, just one small, quiet decision. But it changed the direction of everything. He stopped trying to become perfect. That was the first shift, because for years Ethan had been chasing some ideal version of himself. The 5 a.m. guy, the cold shower guy, the perfectly productive zero social media green smoothie guy. And every time he failed to be that person, he'd punish himself by doing nothing at all. This time was different. He didn't try to fix everything. He just focused on one thing: protecting his nights. That's it. No extreme routines, no complicated 47-step systems, no hour-long evening rituals. Just one simple goal: create mental silence before sleep. He started with the hour before bed, just 1 hour. He put the phone down, not in another room dramatically, just face down on the nightstand. He dimmed the lights. He put on slow, quiet music. Sometimes he just sat there, with nothing. And at first, it felt deeply uncomfortable, almost anxious. His hands kept reaching for the phone automatically. His brain kept screaming for stimulation, for input, for content. Because silence, he realized, forces you to meet yourself. And Ethan hadn't truly met himself in a very long time. That's when something painful became clear. He had been using stimulation to escape his own thoughts. Not because he enjoyed scrolling, not because the content was good, but because silence felt unfamiliar, unsafe, almost, so he kept filling it. Every quiet moment filled, every empty second occupied, every chance his mind had to slow down interrupted, and his brain had paid the price. So he kept going. Every night, less screen time, dimmer lights, slower music, no scrolling in bed, no news before sleep, no stressful conversations after 9 p.m. And gradually, something started shifting, not dramatically, not overnight, but slowly, like fog lifting after a long night. By the end of the first week, he fell asleep faster. By the end of the second week, he stopped waking up at 3 a.m. By the end of the third week, for the first time in years, he woke up before his alarm, not because of anxiety, because his body was actually rested. And then, something completely unexpected happened. His discipline improved, automatically, without him forcing it, without motivation videos, without accountability partners, without willpower he didn't have. It just appeared. Because here's what nobody tells you. Discipline is not a personality trait. It's a neurological resource, and exhausted brains don't have it. Recovered brains do. And that's when Ethan understood something that most people never figure out. Most people are out there trying to build a better life with a completely burned out nervous system, trying to be more productive while chronically sleep deprived, trying to build habits while their prefrontal cortex is running on fumes, trying to find motivation while their brain's reward system is destroyed by constant dopamine hits. They're not failing because they're weak. They're failing because they're running a race with no fuel in the tank. After about 3 weeks, everything started feeling different. Not perfect, not fixed, but lighter, like a weight he'd been carrying so long he forgot it was there, had quietly been set down. His thoughts slowed down. He could sit with a task for more than 10 minutes without his mind escaping to his phone. His anxiety became quieter, not gone, but quieter. The constant low-level noise in the back of his head got softer. He started waking up and actually feeling present, not dreading the day before it started, not already exhausted before putting his feet on the floor. Conversations felt easier. He listened better. He was actually there, in the room, in the moment, not half present and half somewhere inside his phone. Small tasks stopped feeling overwhelming. Emails, errands, phone calls he'd been avoiding for weeks. Things that used to feel like mountains started feeling like tasks again, and for the first time in a long, long time, Ethan felt emotionally present in his own life. That's the part nobody talks about. Fixing your nights doesn't just improve your sleep. It changes your emotions, it changes your energy, it changes your confidence, it changes the way you think, it changes your relationship with yourself, because the version of you that wakes up tomorrow is built by what you do tonight. Every single night. And Ethan finally, completely understood. The problem was never laziness. It was never lack of motivation. It was never weak discipline or bad character. It was exhaustion, modern exhaustion, the quiet, invisible kind, the kind that doesn't announce itself loudly. It just slowly drains you, week by week, month by month, until one day you look in the mirror and don't recognize the person looking back. But here's the part Ethan didn't expect. The part that actually surprised him. The hardest thing wasn't putting the phone down. It wasn't the silence. It wasn't even the discomfort of being alone with his thoughts. It was realizing how long he had been running from himself and how much time he had lost. Maybe that's why so many people feel lost right now. Not because they lack potential, not because they're broken, not because life is just too hard, but because their minds never truly recover anymore. Too much stimulation, too much noise, too many notifications pulling them in 17 directions, too much comparison, too much dopamine, too much of everything except silence, and eventually, people stop hearing themselves. They stop knowing what they actually want. They stop trusting their own instincts, because every quiet moment that could have been self-reflection was filled with someone else's content instead. But here's what I know. The moment you start protecting your nights, something changes. Your brain becomes quieter. Your thoughts become clearer. You start waking up feeling like yourself again. Not perfect, not transformed overnight, but present, grounded, capable. And that changes everything else, because a rested mind makes better decisions. A recovered brain builds better habits. A person who sleeps well shows up differently for their work, for their relationships, for themselves. Ethan didn't find a magic routine. He didn't discover a secret supplement or a productivity hack. He just stopped destroying himself at night. And in doing so, he finally gave himself a chance. If this video felt personal, that's probably because it is. Maybe you recognized yourself in Ethan's story. Maybe you've had those 1 a.m. moments where you're scrolling and you don't even know why anymore. Maybe you've felt that gap between who you want to be and who you keep showing up as. If that's you, start with your nights. Not perfection, not a 47-step routine, not a complete life overhaul starting Monday, just your nights. Tonight. Put the phone down 30 minutes earlier than usual. Dim the lights. Let your brain breathe. That's it. Start there. And if you want more videos like this, subscribe to this channel, because every week we tell real stories about real people who change their lives not with grand gestures, but with quiet, consistent decisions most people overlook. The world is getting louder every year. Your job is to protect your silence, because inside that silence is the version of you that's been waiting to show up. Don't make them wait another night